Okay, hello again. This is our second lesson in the 10th week. So we will continue from where we left off in our first lesson. Okay, I was talking about Fethiye and now we will continue. And I would like to talk about Fethiye Museum a little bit. Focusing on Lycian finds from Telmesos, as well as the ancient settlements of Tlos and Kaunos, this museum exhibits pottery, jewelry, small statuary, and votive stones, and its most prized significant possession, however, is the so-called trilingual stele from Laton, dating from 358 BC, which was used partly to decipher the Lycian language with the help of ancient Greek and Aramaic. The garden surrounding the museum contains an excellent lapidary of mostly Lycian sarcophagi and Roman tombstones, and some of them portraying early Christian symbols and angels. Fethiye's most recognizable site is the huge tomb of Amyntas and Ionic temple facade carved into the sheer rock face in 350 BC in honor of Amyntas, son of Hermappias. It's really, really big and takes attention of everyone. And it was located south of the center, and it is best visited at sunset. Looks beautiful then. And other smaller rock tombs lie about 50 meters to the east of this tomb. And there is a Roman theater to visit. It is in the center of Fethiye, just behind the harbor, and it belongs to Telmesos, and it is a 6,000 seat Roman theater dating from the 2nd century BC. And neglected for years, it was undergoing serious restoration. And there is also a Crusader fortress. It is on the hillside above and south of Fethiye and along the road to Kayaköy. You can't miss its ruined tower. It was built by the Knights of St. John at the start of the 15th century or earlier. When in Fethiye, you should visit Çalış Beach. It's about 5 kilometers northeast of Fethiye center, and it's a narrow stretch of gravel beach lined with mass-produced hotels, as well as pubs and chip shops. And dolmuşlar depart for Çalış from minibus station beside the mosque every 5 to 10 minutes throughout the day, and it's easy to reach this beach. Okay. Now I would like to talk about the cruises a little bit. For many travelers, for example, a 4-day and a 3-night cruise on a gulet, we said it's a Turkish yacht. It's a beautiful cruise along the turquoise coast and known locally as Mavi Yolculuk, Blue Voyage. It's the highlight of their trip to Turkey when they choose to do this. And although advertised as a voyage between Fethiye and Olympos, these boats usually start or stop at Demre, and the trip to or from Olympos is by bus. From Fethiye, boats usually call in at Ölüdeniz and Butterfly Valley and stop at Kaş, Kalkan, and or Kekova, with the final night at Gökkaya Bay, opposite the eastern end of Kekova. A less common route is between Marmaris on the Aegean Sea and Fethiye. That's also beautiful and recommendable. On these cruises, food is usually included in the price, but you sometimes have to pay for water and soft drinks, and always for alcohol. All boats are equipped with showers, toilets, and smallish but comfortable double and triple cabins. Usually there are between 6 and 8 of them. So this is an enjoyable and recommendable trip for tourists, blue voyage. Okay, now I would like to continue with a major base for travelers. Okay, many visitors who does not choose to participate in these blue cruises can opt for the 12-island tour. It's a day-long boat trip around Fethiye Körfezi, Fethiye Bay. These boats usually stop at 5 or 6 islands and cruise by the rest, but either way, it's a great way to experience the beautiful coastline. Hotels and travel agencies sell tickets for these cruises, or you can deal directly with the boat companies along the waterfront parade at the marina. The normal tour visits Yassıcalar, Flat Island for a stop and a swim, then Tersane Adası, Shipyard Island for a dip and a visit to the ruins on it, followed by aquarium for lunch, a swim and a snorkel. Then it goes to Cennet Koyu, Paradise Bay for a plunge, followed by Cleopatra Hamamı, Cleopatra's Bath, and finally Kızıladam, Red Island with beach and mud baths. Okay. And if you have another day or so, excellent boat tours of the same length, you can have boat tours of the same length. You can go to Butterfly Valley via Ölüdeniz, and they allow you to walk, swim, and visit ruins there. Okay. Now I would like to talk about Ölüdeniz. Yet again, one of my favorites, yes. With its sheltered and protected lagoon beside the lush natural park, along sandy beach and Babada, Mount Baba, casting its shadow across the sea, Ölüdeniz, some 15 kilometers south of Fethiye, is a tourist association's dream come true. Yes. For example, my dream come true when I go there. Okay, the problem is, like most beautiful destinations, everyone wants to spend time here, and a lot of people think package tourism has turned the motionless charm of the Dead Sea into a paradise lost. If you are looking for an easygoing day on the beach, though, you can't really go wrong here. Similarly, if you have always wanted to throw yourself off a mountain, Ölüdeniz is one of Turkey's top destinations for tandem paragliding. Nearby is the starting point for the wonderful Lycian Way walking trail, which runs high above the fun and frolic. Okay. Well, the beach is why most people visit Ölüdeniz, of course. While the decent strip of shore edging the village is free, of course, but the famed Lagoon Beach is a protected national park, Ölüdeniz Tabiat Parkı, and you have to pay to enter this place. Both the public beach and lagoon get heavily crowded in summer, but with the mountains soaring above you, it's still a lovely place to while away a few hours. There are showers, toilets, cafes, and sunshades and loungers that can be rented. Well, throughout summer, boats set out from Ölüdeniz Beach to explore the surrounding coast. A typical day-long boat tour might take in Cemile Bay, Kabakkoyu, the Blue Cay, Butterfly Valley, and St. Nicholas Island, and with some time for swimming included in the tour. Yes. And while we are in Ölüdeniz, we have to talk about Butterfly Valley, of course. Tucked away on the Yediburun, Seven Capes coast, a dozen kilometers from Ölüdeniz, is the village of Faralya, also called Uzunyurt, and below it is the paradise found of Butterfly Valley, with a fine beach and some lovely walks through a lush gorge. It's home to the unique Jersey tiger butterfly, from where it takes its name. There are two ways to reach Butterfly Valley, via boat from Ölüdeniz or on foot via a very steep path that went its way down a cliff from Faralya. If you choose the second one, you have to be sure to wear proper shoes and keep to the marked trail, which is indicated with painted red dots. Well, and it usually takes 30 to 45 minutes to descend and closer to an hour to come back up. It's harder to climb back, you know. And there are fixed ropes along the path in the steepest or most dangerous parts. So maybe you should prefer the boats, I think. Faralya is on a stage of the Lycian Way and is prime hiking territory. There is an excellent trail-blazed walk across the hill to Kabak from here. Okay, and now we will talk about Los. Toulouse is on a rocky outcrop high above a pastoral plain, and it was one of the most important cities of ancient Lycia. So effective was its elevated position that the well-guarded city remained inhabited until the early 19th century. As you climb the winding road to the ruins, you can look for the Acropolis, topped with an Ottoman fortress on the right. And beneath that fortress, reached by a narrow path, are Lycian-era rock tombs, including that of the warrior Bellerophon of Chimaera fame. It has a temple-like facade carved into the rock face, and to the left, a fine bas-relief of our hero riding Pegasus, the winged horse. And now I would like to talk a little bit about Latoon. It shares a place with the Lycian capital, Xanthos, on UNESCO's World Heritage List since 1998, and Latoon is home to some of the finest ruins on the Lycian Way. It is a religious sanctuary dedicated to Leto, who, according to the legend, was Zeus's lover and bore him Apollo and Artemis. Unimpressed, Zeus's wife Hera commanded that Leto spend eternity wandering from country to country. According to local folklore, she passed much time in Lycia dead and became the national deity. The core of Latoon's ruins consists of 3 temples standing side by side and dedicated to Apollo, Artemis, and Leto. The Apollo temple has a fine mosaic showing a lyre, a bow and arrow, and floral center. The permanently flooded and highly atmospheric Nefarium is inhabited by frogs, which in folklore are said to be the shepherds who refused Leto a drink from the mountain and were punished for their lack of hospitality. Just to the north of Latoon's main temple complex is a large Hellenistic theater dating from the 2nd century BC. Located about 17 kilometers south of the Pınara, this former religious center is often considered a double site with Xanthos, but Latoon has its own romantic charm, and now it's time for Xanthos. It's once the capital of Lycia, and it sits on a rock outcrop above Kınık. It's a short uphill walk to the site past the city gates, and it was where Nerate Monument once stood. Further up, opposite the car park, is the Roman Theater, Agora, and the ticket office. And if you follow the colonnaded street, you can find some well-preserved mosaics, the dancer sarcophagus, and lion sarcophagus, and some rock tombs. And it has a grand history, and it has a checkered history of wars and destruction, and at least twice When besieged by superior enemy forces, the city's population committed mass suicide, and that is a very interesting fact about Xanthos. As many of the finest sculptures and inscriptions were carted off to London by Charles Fellows in 1842, most of the inscriptions and decorations you see today are only the copies of the originals, unfortunately. Okay, my second lesson here is finished now, and I will see you in our third lesson, and we will continue to talk about the beautiful Antalya coast and around. Okay, I will see you. Bye-bye. Take care.